bit. Hey, it's Dr. Brandye. Welcome. It's Wednesday. Happy hump day. We made it to the middle of the week, guys. How are you? How are you guys doing? Just checking in. Want to see how's everybody. So glad we can be together tonight. I actually was off today, so that's why you see me kind of casual. I was off. I was doing some other work, but just off from my main 9 to 5. So I am just kicking it. How are you guys doing? I hope good. I hope you're still sheltering in place and doing what the authorities have told you to do, which is to stay home, please. Okay? Okay. Yep, I hope you guys are. That's what I was doing today. Staying at home. I had the privilege. Um, don't know how many more days of that I'm going to get, but I'm enjoying the day that I had. All right. So, you know what I'm doing. Trying to get the technology going. Got to get the technology working so we can start our watch party. All right. Well, today was a little different. Just one, because I didn't have to go into the office, but two, it was warm today. I'm like, when is spring coming? We had a little peek of it today, so I'm glad about that. What about you guys? I know one of my good friends is in Alaska, and there's still snow on the ground. So I'm sure it was not too warm there. Where are you guys coming from? Where are you viewing at? Put it in the comments. Where are you watching from? Put it in the comments. Your city, your state, or if you're in California, where I am, you can put you're in your house, you're in your car, wherever. Okay. Wow, I'm really not finding it. That's interesting. Okay. Let's see. No, we don't want to create a live. Okay. All right. Well, anywho, since I'm not getting the technology working the way that I wanted to, we'll still just jump in because, yeah, why drag it out? Let's talk. Let's talk. So tonight I wanted to get on so that we could talk about communication in the time of COVID, right? The communication in the time of coronavirus. And I wanted to get on and talk to you guys because it's something that's important. The order to shelter in place and the instructions to, stay home and do what you're supposed to do has been extended recently. Now the kids we know are going to be out of school until pretty much till next school year, because they are saying that the schools, at least here, are going to be closed through the end of the school year, and they're going to do the distance learning stuff and all of that. And so, we're going to be together. You're going to be together. You're going to be in close proximity with people. And I think that it is important to be able to communicate effectively because you don't want to be in a situation where you can't stand the person that you are in quarantine with, right? So if there's anything going on, you want to be able to discuss it and go from there so that you can resolve it and then move on and keep the peace in the house. And, this is a time because you are together, things may come up. Things may actually, some things that you may have been, not dealing with, or just kind of like, oh, okay, it'll be okay. Those things actually may bubble up to the surface and become more of an issue. So that's why I wanted to talk about communication in this time, because it's very, very important to be open and to resolve issues, but also just to help you to establish relationships. Because honestly, before this time, before us having to shelter in place and before us having to be on quarantine, I'm pretty sure you were not exhibiting the best habits in terms of communication. So many times seeing people at restaurants and different things, families at restaurants, and everybody's on their phone. You're at home, and even though you're sitting in the same room, everybody's on their phone. Just not the ideal or optimal communication. So that's the other reason that I wanted to get on and talk, because it's important. Communication is important. We are not mind readers by any stretch of the imagination. We're horrible at reading minds and reading actions. So being able to communicate and communicate effectively will be a great skill to cultivate during this time. So something to focus on, something to work on while you're at home. Okay. So first thing that we want to talk about in terms of tips and tools for improving your communication is eye contact. You want to make sure that you are looking people in the eye when they're talking to you, right? I don't know about you, but when I'm talking to somebody and they're doing other things or looking away, or, again, focused on like their phone or something else, that actually can send a message that, what you have to say is not important. What you have to say, they really don't care about. And especially if it's something that is much a part, it has a lot of emotion to it. If there's some sort of rift or breakdown in the relationship, those are definitely the times that you want to focus and pay attention and look somebody in the eye when they're talking, and vice versa. If you're talking, I think it's only fair to expect somebody to look you in the eye when you're talking. Hey Leo, thanks for coming on. I'm so glad to see you. How you doing? Well, I'm sure you probably are at work. I was off today. But be safe. I hope you're being safe. I hope you got your PPE. All right. Yeah, eye contact. That's so important. And I think that it is not something that gets taught. Like, I have to tell my daughter sometimes, like, I'm talking to you. My eyes are right here. Can you look at me? Because, it's just not something that she has grown up being taught. And people are, just looking down at their phones instead of looking you in the eye. So I think that's so important, just to look people in the eye. And I know sometimes it can be weird. It can feel weird, especially if you haven't done it before and you're not in the habit of doing it. Then one tip, one trick. Well, actually, I'll give you two. So one tip is just to look at one eye, because sometimes it can be hard to look at both the eyes at the same time. You might end up looking like you're cross-eyed because you're trying to see both eyes. So just focus on one eye. But another tip is, as you're looking at their eyes, try to take it all in, take in all the details, as if you were going to have to recreate or draw or paint their eyes, because you'll see all of these different nuances in there. You can see different color variations, little flecks here and there. You might notice their eyelashes, things like that. So, if looking somebody in the eye is problematic, or you're just not used to it and it feels really awkward, you can do that, and that actually helps to decrease some of that awkwardness and help you to look somebody in the eye. Oh, good, Leo. I'm so glad that you have your PPE. That's so important. Stay safe, my friend. Stay safe. All right. So first tip is making good eye contact, right? Second tip is to listen better. All right. So a lot of times when we are having conversations with someone else, we're listening, but we're not really hearing. We're not listening to understand. We are listening and hearing so that we can respond back. And a lot of times we're waiting for that other person to finish talking so that we can jump in and say, oh, but what about this? And this and this and that. So you want to make sure that when you're listening, you want to give the other person their space to talk. So don't interrupt. That's rude, for one. Two, that's telling the other person that you don't really care about what they are saying. and let them speak, let them talk. And then when you are doing that, this is actually part of another tip, but you want to make sure that you understand what has been said, because communication has two parts. It has a communicator and it has a communicatee. So the person who is communicating to you, and then the person who's receiving that communication. And even though it seems like it's going in a straight line from the person who communicated it to the person who's receiving that communication, there's so much that can happen in that space that can get misconstrued and be misunderstood. So it's very important to make sure that you are understanding what somebody is saying to you and what they're trying to communicate. Hey, Tasana, thanks for joining tonight. Welcome back. It's been a while. How are you? I hope you're doing good too. I hope you're staying safe. You got your PPE. Be careful out there, girl. So you want to make sure that you are listening to understand and not just listening to respond back. And then again, give your full attention. Because if you are doing other things while somebody is talking to you, that gives the impression that you really don't give a ish about what they say. And that's very rude. And it can make people shut down. And then they don't want to talk to you, which is not necessarily a good thing. Now, if that's what you're going for, that's a whole other conversation. We can talk offline about that and the pettiness, but whatever. If you really are trying to have good communication with somebody, then you want to let them know that you are paying attention. Tasana said, hey, and thanks, you too. Thanks, girl. I'm trying. I was off today though, but I'm trying. All right. So the third tip with communicating in this time of quarantine is just to actually establish a dialogue by asking open-ended questions. So, don't ask questions that are a yes or no answer. Ask questions that get people thinking. Not necessarily, are you hungry? Ask some good stuff, ask some meaty stuff. And if you guys want to know some good questions, just put it in the comments, I want to know. And I'll send you a PDF with some great questions to ask, some great conversation starters so that you can actually dig a little deeper and learn some more about the person or the people who are around you. Specifically, I work with women and helping them with their intimate relationships. But some of these questions are actually great questions to ask your kids, great questions to ask friends, even if you're not in close proximity. If you guys get together with a video conferencing, FaceTime, Skype, Zoom, any of that stuff, you can ask some of those questions too. So if you want those, just type in the comments, I want the questions, and I'll get those to you. Right? All right. So you want to ask open-ended questions. Fourth thing, you got to watch your body language. So a lot of times our communication is nonverbal. And so, yes, the words are there and the tone is there, and the tone is important too, but how you are carrying yourself actually conveys a lot of information. So if you're sitting there and somebody's talking to you and you got your hands crossed like this, or you looking at them like this, giving them the side eye, that actually does convey some contempt, and it's not good. It doesn't help. So you want to watch how you are positioning your body. If you're talking to somebody, again, at the eye contact, but if you're sitting, kind of turn your body towards them. If you're standing, just let your arms hang at your side. Don't get into this kind of posture. And definitely if you're sitting and you're at a table, not like this with a smirk on your face or anything like that. And I'm saying all of this because those are all things that I have done personally and have had to learn how to dial that back if I want to have effective communication. So if you want to have effective communication, you got to watch your body language, because it speaks volumes. And even if you are not intending for that to be the message that's conveyed, it gets conveyed. So you got to be careful with that. All right. So then number 6, like I said, is about actually making sure that you are understood, um, and making sure that you understand the other person, right? So you ask your questions. If there's something that's not clear, ask for clarification. Sometimes repeating back what you heard and saying to the person, okay, this is what I hear you saying, can be very helpful, to improve communications. Because one, if you have heard the right thing, if you have heard what they are trying to convey, then you let them know that you were listening and you were paying attention. And that goes a long way in terms of decreasing stress, tension, anxiety, and any angst between the two of you. And then the second thing is, if it's not correct, they can clarify for you and let you know if that, or they can correct it and tell you what it is, and maybe explain it in a different way or give you a different example. So that's always great, to repeat back what it is that you have heard the other person saying. And then, oh, hey, Barbara, so glad you could jump on. And then the other part of that, the flip side of that, is just to make sure that you are being understood. And so, you know, if first you can ask the other person, like, okay, what is it that you heard me say? What is it that you feel that I am saying to you? And confirm or deny if that's what is going on, right? And then you can also ask clarifying questions of the person that you're talking to make sure that they get the message of what it is that you are trying to convey. All right, so that was number 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. That was number 6. All right, then we're going to end off with number 7, which is have a goal for the interaction, have a goal for the communication. So a lot of times we go into things and we don't have a clear outcome for what we want to see at the end. And then we're disappointed when what we were hoping happens didn't happen or doesn't happen. And so first and foremost, you want to know what it is that you want to communicate and what you want to convey and what you want to see as the result of that message being communicated. And sometimes it can be helpful if, as you're starting the conversation, you tell the other person, hey, this is what I'd like to see happen from this communication. Because a lot of times if we tell somebody, hey, we need to talk, that is something that makes people kind of clench up and get nervous. So if you at least are telling them, hey, I want to talk, and the goal is for me to express how I'm feeling. The goal is for me to get your opinion on what you think I should do. Just setting the situation up so that people are able to have some idea of where the conversation is going and to decrease anxiety and stress levels. So that is so helpful, is to make sure that you have a goal in mind. And no, you don't have to tell the other person, but sometimes it's helpful to do that. So that's it, guys. I just wanted to get on and give you a few tips for how to communicate well in this time of coronavirus, and hopefully help keep the peace at home as you are sheltering in place and doing all the things that you need to do. For all my healthcare workers, we're on the front lines. Stay safe, guys. Use your PPE. Don't play, because this virus ain't playing. And we still have not seen the peak of it yet. So be safe, and take care of yourselves. Thank you, Leo, for joining. Thank you for Tasana for joining. Thank you, Barbara, for jumping on too. If you are catching this on the replay, definitely put hashtag replay in the comments, so I know that you were here on the replay. And if you want to get a free PDF with those questions that you can ask for generating conversation, definitely put I want the questions in the comments and I will get those to you. And that's it for tonight. So I'm Dr. Brandye, board certified OBGYN, published author, and women's libido coach. If you can't see it, my book is in the background. My Oh My, A Committed Woman's Guide to Getting the Great Sex That She Deserves. If you would like to get your autographed copy, go to myohmybook.com. That's MYOMYBOOK.com. And you can order your autographed copy and I'll send that out to you. And otherwise, guys, be safe and I'll talk to you soon. Bye.